sides to me. Love me or hate me, depending on which one you see. But I don't think that I'm two-faced. I might be 7 or 8-faced. But I think it's all coming from the same place. People get offended when you don't say what they expect. That's the story of my life. That's the story of my life. So I tend to see eye to eye, or what I call illuminati eye to illuminati eye. Ha 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 ha, that's not a joke. I see eye to eye with people that would rather die than conform, than conform, than conform. How boring it must be to be going along with some social norm, social norm, social norm. And so many people do this, and they don't know why they do this. But don't tell me that they don't choose this. They do, but they're just not conscious. They're just not conscious. Well, yours truly has the opposite problem. But I'd rather have this problem than not have this problem. Is it really a problem? It's just annoying. But anytime that you're inconvenient, you act like it's the end of the world. Yeah, every time that you're inconvenienced, it's a third degree. All because you can't see the blessing eventually. Think about this, and I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again because it's worth repeating, okay? If you're inconvenienced now, that just means that up until now you were very convenient. So maybe you should thank God for that. Yeah, thank God for that. Thank God for a lot, baby. You're not even thinking about it. All the things you have, and all the horrible things that you don't have, you know? I try to remind myself when I get stressed out, it ain't worth stressing. But that don't mean that I can't be upset or pissed off or aggravated, 'cause, you know, I'm a human being and shit. So it's bound to happen at some point throughout the day. And that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I'm quicker to get out of it, and that's really all that matters to me. I'm quicker to get out of things that aren't too good for me. Quicker today than yesterday. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Learning from your experience, benefiting from your experience, joking about your experience, writing songs about your experience, even if they're not very good. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Self-expression is the purpose of all this, I reckon. I tell people just don't expect it to be good, and then you'll be impressed. You know? That's all you gotta do. Just make sure the bar is like super low. I mean, look, the world is fucking shit, okay? I'm a reflection of that. Okay, art is supposed to be representative of the world. The world's artificial. Art is short for artificial, and yeah, that's exactly what the world is. You know? I really like this brass ensemble. I won't change it though. I'm bored. Oh, I like that. You know, I used to fantasize about being something else. I used to fantasize about being a real girl. People ask me, what's a real girl? I guess more feminine. I fantasize about giving you what you want, being that supportive, nurturing, little bird, little bird. That's what women are supposed to be, man. And that's why men have to protect us, guard us from danger. But you know how mama birds are when they're protecting their young? It's like, I think about the animal kingdom and how they make a lot more sense than we do. And it's like they're not even conscious, man. But we're supposedly conscious, but are we really conscious? I feel like we do everything to deny our consciousness, our consciousness, our consciousness. But yeah, I think that women are supposed to be like, yeah, little mama birds that stay at home in their nest and never open their mouth. And they can chirp, chirp, chirp for what it's worth, but nobody's gonna listen. I think that women would be a lot better off if they could accept that nobody gives a fuck. I think that women would be a lot better off if they could accept that nobody's gonna fix it. Just accept not being fixed, and you'll be fine, girlfriend. It's funny, I've seen my subscriber count go down, so like every time it goes up, it goes right back down. And I know it's like people think that my politics are a certain way, but I do have a very sexist view of women, but that doesn't mean that, like, I don't see that there are exceptions to that, I mean, obviously, I'm one of them, but that's also because I'm fucking nut job, But not a nut job, like, when I say that, I think there's a scale, okay? There's a spectrum, right? There's a spectrum. Well, most people on the spectrum of mental illness, that's the one I'm talking about, okay? I think most people on that spectrum still want to be around people. They still want to engage in relationships and stuff like that. But, like, the crazier you are, the less you have a need for that. It's not just, like, that you don't desire it, you don't need it. You know, like, you reject it. I don't know. Maybe it's gotten worse, dude. It's gotten worse over the years. And I wouldn't give a shit, like, man, if I were still on the left, because I used to be a flaming liberal, man. If I were still on the left, I wouldn't give a fuck. Maybe it's because I'm, like, more conservative now. And I'm around church people a lot. They got these big families and everything. And they understand that I'm schizo and they don't expect more of me. But it's like, I don't know. I think that we have the tendency, speaking for me, but I know that a lot of people have this problem as well. We have the tendency to think, like, we're not good enough because, like, we're not doing what the world wants. And you think I'd be over that by now, but it still torments me to some extent. You know? Because, like, it just seems like people just don't understand that, not everybody wants the same thing. Because, we all have different ideas of what happiness is. It's just like there are a lot of people that think that love is like eroticism. Or they think that love is like being obsessed with somebody. And, when really it's just like you're using that person as a distraction from yourself. You fuck because you don't want to face yourself, It's like, it's a drug, essentially. But yeah, I never enjoyed that, because I always felt like I was using somebody else as a drug, which is fucked up, It's like kind of sociopathic in a way. And so I feel like people that do that are pretty fucked up. Like, if you know that you're a problematic person, and you continue to have sex with people, and you continue to, like, be in relationships, you should go to jail. I mean, really and truly, I believe that. Like, people that refuse to do any work on themselves, if they have childhood trauma and they refuse to do any work on themselves, and they just, like, develop some substance abuse problem or something. It's like, there's this guy that I work with. Well, he doesn't work there anymore, because now he's just selling drugs. And he already was doing that, but, like, now he's doing that, like, full time. But he's, like, overdosing on shit. And I said something, and his friend was just like, holy shit. Like, I apologized, because I felt like I was being insensitive, but he understood what I meant, but it did seem kind of harsh. I was like, why don't he just kill himself, Like, if he's gonna, like, be fucking with all these drugs, it's obvious that he wants to kill himself, And I think I was just speaking for myself, like, mainly because my 13-year anniversary is coming up with, giving up alcohol, and it's like, I just think back on, like, when I was drinking and, like, how much I drank and how I really did want to kill myself, but I was just too chicken shit. I was too much of a coward. And a lot of people think that it's cowardice to kill yourself. I'm like, that's, like, such a permanent decision. It's actually pretty brave, I think. I mean, it's fucked up, and it is selfish. I mean, it's kind of pointless to even say that. But, I think it's way more selfish, though, to just be, like, an alcoholic or a drug addict, because that's like a slow suicide, and I just think about his mom, and, like, she just has to watch her son, like, completely self-destruct. And my mom, it's like she had to get multiple calls from multiple hospitals telling them that their daughter was on suicide watch. With that, I guess that's kind of a funny joke. Suicide watch. It's like, yeah, just watch me. Like, watch me prove that I want to kill myself through booze. Or just through driving a car, you know? That's why I told y'all to pray for me, okay? I mean, I don't want to kill myself anymore, but I know that I still have that self-destructive part of me. Like, it's still like a demon that is attached to me. So, that definitely torments me too. But yeah, I just think it's really shitty. Like, if you really want to kill yourself and you're too much of a coward to just do it the real way, and then you just do it with substances, just waiting to overdose, you know? It's like, I'm not like suggesting that he kill himself, okay? I just said that because I was mad about the whole thing. But like, that is kind of how I feel though. Because I look at all these other actions as like way more selfish than suicide. Because suicide is selfish, but it's like, it's, you know, once it's done, you know? Like, I mean, it's true. When somebody overdoses, it's like, yeah, if you're continuing to do a drug and you know that it's really terrible for you, and you know that, like, there's that potential where you could, like, kill yourself if you overdo it, and you're purposely doing way too much of it, it's like, think about all this shit that you're, like, putting your family and your friends through, just watching you do that to yourself, over and over and over and over and over and over again, you know? It's like, that's why you see people, like, in these, like, long-term relationships that just end it eventually. Because, like, one of my favorite singer-songwriters killed himself a couple years ago. And I actually think it was for real. I don't think he, you know, was offed or anything, mainly because nobody knows who the fuck the Silver Jews are. But, yeah, so David Berman, the lead singer of the Silver Jews, I'm not sure how he killed himself. But yeah, his wife of like 20 years, like, they got divorced. Like, I think they were getting separated. But it's like, yeah, she's had to put up with his shit for so long. And I know that a lot of people think, well, you should just put up with shit from your spouse. But obviously those people have never been with, like, a drug addict or an alcoholic, so they have no idea, like, what that's like to have to deal with that shit. So, you know, I think he, like, had attempted suicide before. He, like, took, like, hundreds of pills. And this is when, like, they first got married. So I can't even imagine, like, how much bullshit she had to deal with for 20 fucking years. You know? But yeah, it's like, she was really the only thing keeping him from killing himself, so. I'm sure that he told her he was gonna do it. I'm sure she was like, yeah, go for it. Because she was just sick of it. But, yeah. I know that suicide's bad. It's kind of like, I feel the same way about suicide as I do abortion, because they're, like, essentially the same thing. If you look at it from a certain angle. But it's like, as bad as it is, it's like, it's still better than the alternative. It's like, I look at, like, okay, so there's child abuse, and then there's abortion. Abortion's really bad, you know. It's really, like, a horrific thing. A really violent act. But, like, what's worse? Having an abortion or dressing your son up like a girl? I would say that the latter is way worse. Because that kid's eventually going to kill itself. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. And so it's like, you know, I look at drug addiction, like, if you're an addict, like, eventually you're going to kill yourself with whatever you're addicted to. You know? Is this the wrong way to look at things? Am I just, like, a stone cold cynic? I mean, I don't think it's wrong to be a cynic. I mean, I think that people that aren't cynical aren't paying any attention to the way that people really are. You know? And it's like, I have seen so many fucked up people, like, you know, I told y'all 12-step program, okay. Worked in restaurants for a long time, I know. Take that double shot! And, you know, worked in restaurants, so I've seen a lot of people on a lot of drugs. And I've seen people get clean and sober, and I've seen people relapse, and I've seen people go back to jail, and I've seen people lose their kids. You know, I know people that have died, you know, like drinking, or they've died because of alcohol withdrawals, they died because they overdose. I've had several friends, several coworkers overdose. My first channel, Aimless, when I was working at Wendy's, there was this chick, her name was Heather, and she was in a few of those videos. She's one of my coworkers at Wendy's. She's gone. She overdosed on I don't know what kind of pills they were. But I'm assuming that her husband, who's also in the videos, probably overdosed following her death. But yeah. I don't blame the drugs, though. I really don't. I mean, drugs are, like, obviously bad. You know, obviously they're addictive. But it's like people are choosing to take that shit. People are choosing to, like, escape their stuff. And not deal with it. And if they're doing that in, like, a really, like, potentially fatal way, then yeah, eventually something's gonna happen. And yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I've just seen too many people, like, completely destroy themselves with alcohol and drugs. So it's like, I just don't really... It's not that I don't have any compassion for that, but it's just like, it's a choice, you know? It really is. It's a fucking choice. And if people make the choice to do that, yeah, they might as well kill themselves. So, anyway. And I'm sure somebody's fixing to ask, well, what about pot? What about kratom? What about all this plants? You talk about plants. Like, there's a difference between doing something medicinally and doing something, like, that you know is really bad for you. Like, I don't know, man. I think that people should do, like, what they're able to do. You know, if it works out for them. I don't see heroin working out for people. I mean, alcohol didn't work out for me. That's why I stopped drinking it, okay? I know people that can drink alcohol, but I know far more that can't. And it's just this thing, like, eventually it's going to kill them. I know. Like, I've accepted that. I've accepted that, like, half my friends are probably not going to make it. You know? I give them 10 years. So, I'm not, like, trying to be morbid or anything. I'm just trying to be realistic here. And it's so much easier to just get drugs than it is to face your childhood trauma. You know? It's like, marijuana, like, has always helped me to, like, understand things. So I go into, like, whatever, like, I'm not escaping anything, you know what I mean? But, like, I see people, like, on pills, like, where they're just like, you know? That's not what I'm doing on weed. I'm taking a fucking bike ride, you know? Like, I'm doing stuff that I should do. But one of the reasons I quit smoking it, because I felt really unproductive. It goes directly to the brain when you smoke it. Like, it's an instant thing. And just the stuff that's out now is way too strong, so I'm just not fucking with it like that. But if I eat it, it's like a different kind of effect. It's like more of a chill, you know, let's focus on God. But, I don't know, I wrestled with that for a little while, because I was like, why do I keep choosing this? Am I a bad person or something? Am I just an addict? But I don't think I'm an addict, man, because it's like, addicts can't go without it. You know, it's like they have to have it. Like, I think I might do another fast pretty soon. Because that's just how I do it, you know? It's like all or nothing, so it's like I just gotta fast from it. That's the most important thing. Like, when they say moderation, like, that's how I do moderation. It's like... like, I'll do something, like, every day for, like, a whole month, and then, like, I'll go another month and, like, not do it at all. You know? Just sort of clear my head. So it's like being off drugs is like being on drugs. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, everything's a fucking drug, you know? Sobriety's a drug, too. You know, I've heard a bunch of people say that. A bunch of people in meetings. I think they might just be saying that as some sort of cope, but... I mean, it's true, though. You know, if you experience things, like, in their natural form, but you, like, have this spiritual lens that you look at it from, it definitely is like a drug. Because it's very transformative, you know? So, I think that it's possible to achieve that through a lot of different means. And I think that there are just so many ways to get high, you know? So you get high, like, totally naturally, you know, through fucking sunlight. You just go outside, feel good. You can exercise. You can sing, you know? Like, that definitely raises my vibrational frequency. Yeah, like, yeah, if you go take a walk, like, that's good. That's healing. It, like, clears your mind. You know, you can smoke a fucking joint. You can do that. What else can you do? Do some Pilates. I don't know. I don't know why people think that yoga is, like, fucking demonic. I guess it can be. But, I mean, it's all how you use it. Like, there are so many people that they do stuff, and, like, I don't really agree with it, but at the same time, I don't think they're doing it a demonic way. At least they're not doing that intentionally. I feel like it's all about intentions. At the same time, I don't think there's such a thing as a good witch, but I don't want to just assume that you're, like, you know, trying to kill me or some shit, you know? I just don't want to think like everybody's like that. Like, just because they're doing something I don't agree with, I don't want to just assume that, you know, you have evil intentions, you know? I just don't think that's right. I like to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're a better person. Also, there's certain vibes that I get. If I don't get a bad vibe from you, then it really doesn't matter, like, what you do or don't do. I'm not just gonna assume, like, oh, you're involved in this, so that must mean that you're sacrificing children at your house, you know? Like, that's what you're really doing, man. That's not fair. I'm not gonna put that on you. Just because you got a crystal, you know? I'm not gonna just assume the worst. But, you know, I've always assumed the worst about the world. But it turns out I was right.